And I think we are actually ready for the next game, Mega Man 7, that is run by iongravirei. He actually told me how to pronounce his name, so I'm sorry. Now I'm pronouncing correctly. Take it away, Ion.
All right, welcome to Mega Man 7. Should I do like a countdown for the timer, or are we good? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, yeah, I'm excited for this cutscene too. I know everyone is.
I like the art style.
Yeah, dude. The art style, the music, I like everything about this game. So we're driving down this busted up highway, and they're kind of just wondering, what happened to Wily, man? I don't know why everything's busted up, because he's in jail. And then they just throw jokes at each other, because they're as bored as we are watching this. The classic.
I am a little confused of what's happening in the story right now.
He gave him the wrong hat.
Oh, now I recognize the guy. Okay.
Alright, now we're ready to go. About to start the gameplay. Just kidding, there's more cutscene. I'm just jamming out to the intro stage music right now. Yeah, story goes, he was saying that Wily was still in the jail back there, so it couldn't have been him, but then the jail explodes. So there's an egg on his face right now.
Well, he flew there pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's fast. The secret's that he can teleport. You find that out later. Okay, now we can play the game. So 7's your standard, you know, just jump and shoot slide game. You can switch weapons really fast with the shoulder buttons on the SNES controller. Not that I have any right now, but, you know. Also, I feel bad for those Mets and their families. They're all gone. Crushed by this punk with a mohawk. Missed it. So there's two ways to do the intro. It's kind of weird. You can either like legitimately do it well, or if you get down to low enough health, the game feels bad for you. Bass or Forte here just makes fun of you, says you're terrible. He really likes to do that. He just likes to make fun of you, because he's basically you, but with a different outfit on. So he has to assert his dominance somehow. It helps that he's taller, so the stuff he says has more authority than you. So Cloud, pretty rough for a first stage, because like every other slide, you have a pit associated with it. It's not the worst thing ever, but man, there's a few gimmicks to this stage, like the weather. Yeah, you get like rain. If you bring Freeze Man's weapon into this place, that was good. If you bring Freeze Man's weapons into this place, you can make it snow, which has a few weird effects to it. Like all the platforms turn white, of course, and there's like a few invisible platforms that become visible when you do that. If my play seems a little sloppy right now, it's because I woke up like an hour ago. So apologies for that. It'll get better later, I promise.
I actually love how you make the game look really easy. It almost feels like I could play it right now and be good.
You probably could. It's not really like a hard game. I can't tell if he's... Okay, yeah. Not breaking that egg was very, very bad, because those fan dudes on that screen, they can either blow me away or suck me in, and I didn't know which one the last guy was doing, because the game was lagging too bad. So your Buster in this game is kind of mediocre. It does 2 damage as opposed to the, usual 3 that Mega Mans give you. So charging all the time is not really the best idea, but if you can squeeze it in, then it works out pretty fine. The idea with this guy is his invincibility thing with the lightning shows up so often that you're justified in just charging whenever. But another thing is, like, if you move far away from him and shoot a lemon, the little like default shot, you can just charge the entire, like the travel time that the lemon is going from you to him. So the farther away you can shoot and charge, if you can time it for when his invincibility runs out, then you just end up saving some time. That's not something I came up with, that's something I learned from the X2 runners, because they've been doing that forever with like the intro boss of that game.
Is Lemon the actual name?
No. No, but if you talk to anybody that plays these, they'll just call it a lemon.
Okay.
That's just the standard community-wise.
Name checks out.
Yeah. So since we finally have one of the weapons, we're pretty much never going to use the Buster ever again, with a few exceptions. Like I don't know, it's good because you can rapid fire it, but pretty much every weapon in this game is so good that you just use it constantly. Like this one, it just one-shots like everything. And when it hits something, it splits in half, so it can hit multiple targets. Okay. There's a little skip you can do here. It doesn't save more than like a second though. If you get hit by the little cockroach guy on the previous screen, then you get stuck in the ceiling. And all that culminates in is you still have to sit through the elevator. You don't get to skip that or anything. But in this room, you don't have to climb that ladder because you're on the ceiling. So you save the like second it takes you to climb the ladder, and that's about it. It looks cool though. I mean, it looks cool, but you can't see Mega Man anymore because he's not on the screen. So you just have to imagine it. The level order's the way it is because we get Rush Jet ASAP. Like, you need Cloud's weapon to get Rush Jet. I mean, I guess theoretically not, but as long as you're doing this order, you do not want to do Junkman without his weapon, or without his weakness. It is horrendous. Don't do that. Because Jet lets you just skip giant sections of rooms like this. If there's ever a pit, and there's a lot of pits in this game, as there are with like any Mega Man, you don't have to worry at all. You can use it to like scale rooms kind of too, like a makeshift platform. I do that a lot too. So now you're gonna see one of the unfortunate things of this game. It's nice for me as a runner, but playing this game normally, it's not the best thing. Whenever you hit them with their weakness, they kind of just freak out. Like they have a special hit animation, like Junkman's, like he like explodes into like little pieces, then reforms. And then they'll always do the same thing afterwards. So the fights are very, very, very predictable. In Junk's case, he just jumps from one side of the room to the other, and then there's some where they just it's like shoot afterwards, so they just don't move, and that makes it very, very simple. There's a few bosses that I don't do that on because it's slower to hit them with their weakness, believe it or not, because their freak out animation is so long. Like Slashman, for instance, his thing is he leaves the screen when you hit him with his weakness. You don't want him to do that. So you kind of save it for like special occasions to hit him. But yeah, for the most part, bosses are a joke in this game. The stages are the only like kind of difficult part, but if there's anything that's giving you trouble, you can reasonably just rush jet across it, and you're fine 90% of the time. It may not be fast, but you can do it. The shield from Junk is ridiculous. I think it's like one of the best weapons in classic Mega Man in general. Because not only is it a shield, which just kills enemies around you, but it's broken up into smaller pieces. I think it's like 9 sprites or something. So you can theoretically just kill 9 enemies with one use of Junk Shield, and you can actually do that. I think I probably do that at a few points in this run. Did I get it? No. You get to hear the polar bear growl. The one drawback to Junk Shield, you're going to see it in this fight, is because it summons so many sprites, the game lags like crazy. So I try to ditch it ASAP. Thankfully, like, all the pieces collide with Freeze Man, but you're seeing the slowdown there. Yeah, just look at how slowly they spawn, man. So you have to be a little careful of it if you're trying to be, like, a speed boy, but if you're just playing this, you can Junk Shield all day through the stages and nothing will do anything. Except for, like, armored enemies that you can't kill with it. Other than that, I mean, 'cause there's always going to be exceptions, because they thought about some of it, but they really made the weapons way too strong, I think. I guess they kind of make up for that by having the stages be a little perilous. Like, in particular, the next one, Burst Man, is pretty tough. It's like underwater, transitioning between, like, water, not underwater, of course, and there's, like, spikes on the ceiling and the floor everywhere. You can get stuck in bubbles that move you around.
So what is going on in the story right now? We just saw a girl.
Yeah, so in this version of the game, the original one, whenever you get a new power, it's like random who tells you about it, but sometimes they don't do that. Like, Roll usually gives you like a, I don't want to say like a guess, but she doesn't really know what's going on because she's just, you know, like a supporting cleaning robot kind of thing. You can get Light, who just deadpan tells you what it does. Or you can get Otto, who doesn't care about what you want, and he just talks about his day and what's going on. He's the big green robot who put the wrong hat on you at the beginning. He has a good sense of humor. He's a good guy. But in the US release of this game, I guess they like rushed it out or something, but they didn't translate all the little interactions between everybody, so you just get Light telling you what it does and that's it. Little disappointing, but it's okay. It makes the English one way more consistent because they say different things, so they have like different timings for the cutscenes and stuff like that. So if you play on the English one, of course it's slower because there's more characters to display because it does them one by one when it prints them. But on this one, that's one of the reasons why like grinding out runs of this is very, very annoying. Because not only do you have the like really, really long intro, and you probably noticed the like longish interludes where you're waiting for other things. Can I make this jump? Yeah, it's fine. I don't need rush because I took too long to decide what I wanted to do. I was going on about something. Right. But because the different characters can show up, like they're just random which ones are telling you about your power or whatever. Some of them are way faster. Like the biggest difference is like 6 seconds between fastest versus worst. And that just like adds up over the entire run. So you can play really well, but then you were a fool and decided to play Japanese. So you lost 30 seconds over like 8 robos for no reason.
Bully Hunter 26 donated $1. Thank you, Bully. And remember, all donations help, even $1. If everyone in chat donated $1, we would almost be at $20,000. But right now, we're only $300 for the $19,000 mark. So keep the donations coming in.
Shoutouts to the Bully Hunter crew.
He also says, bullying is not a game.
Oh no. That was a fun live stream if anybody caught it. the whole Bully Hunter scandal. Jesus, that was incredible. That was the most fun I've had on Twitch in a while. So this interlude here, because we beat all the Robot Masters that were there, the first 4, Mega Man is just, he's still upset about Base making fun of him earlier. So he's off to ask Dr. Light what he thinks about him to, reinforce that he's valid and his negative opinions of Base are okay. But then Light just kind of interrupts him and says, yeah, the museum's under attack, go. So we're here. There's a really sick, medley remix of a couple of old Mega Man songs here, but you only hear 5 seconds of it. If I were to stand around for, I think, 7 minutes or so, you'd hear the whole thing. But, so, curious that there's 2 broken glasswares down there, but he's only taking Gutsman. Very curious. The Clownman prototype's not very good. They need to slim him down a little bit, I think. Kind of a weird thing about that fight, if you play this game on the re-releases, let's see. I think it happens on Anniversary Collection, the console one, and it also happens on the re-releases on Steam. The thing where you hit his head and it bounces around, it has a different arc for some reason. It just goes way different directions than it does on here. I'm not sure why that is. Everything else is pretty much the same. I'm mostly just throwing that out as a cry for help. Please, somebody tell me why. It keeps me awake at night. This is one of those levels where Rush Jet's really good. Instead of riding that dinosaur the entire time.
This level has a great feeling of Jurassic Park.
You know it does. I love robot dinosaurs and robot spikes.
And the fence, too.
Robot fences. This is he can be kind of tough, unless you use Junk Shield on him. Then he doesn't matter. Funny thing about that guy, he's constantly on the screen, or the game has him loaded all the time once you go to that screen. So if you backtrack in the level after he spawns, if you just climb back down the ladder, right, he will follow you basically, backwards. He will sprite swap with any enemy, and he's just taking up the whole screen. It's incredible. It's a little tricky to do, but if you have the time, I recommend trying to do that. So here's Slash. He's leaving. He leaves after a while anyway, so I try to make my hits of the weakness kind of coincide with it. He leaves after a certain number of hits typically, but if you hit him with his weakness, he just instantly leaves. Oh, not like this. Okay. You can kind of game the fight to hit him a whole bunch of times before he leaves, but you have to take advantage of certain moments where he's not mentally counting how many times you hit him already. When he's diving down, he's invincible, but if you somehow manage to hit him during that, then he doesn't count it. That kind of is reflected whenever he hits the ground. He's still in the dive state, but you can hit him for a couple of frames down there. And then there's a couple of other instances like that. But it doesn't save that much time. It's a second or two. You do it in the refights usually because it's way easier there. Because instead of having to rely on the Charge Buster, which if you get hit, you lose, by the way. Well, no, not hit. If you get hit by the falling eggs in that fight. Speaking of which, if they're robot dinosaurs, why do the eggs bleed when they fall down? It's a disturbing thought. Maybe a bit too morbid for the morning.
We do have a $1 anonymous donation, and first I read "Hey Long," then I realized it was written ING. So, hey ING, good luck on the run. The Squid Click is supporting you all the way. You have to tell me what the Squid Click is.
The Squid Click, man. Oh no. Not those guys. I thought I escaped them forever ago. Okay. One second, let me get to a good spot, then I can give you a good squid click story. As soon as I start looping this guy. This is a good boss, by the way. Yeah, you just keep doing this. So the Squid Click group of gamers firmly believe that the road to victory is not through practice, but through grinding out runs forever. Got them the nickname Grind Monkeys because everybody coincidentally happens to run Ape Escape. But then our main leader, Cypher, he dropped it and played Rockman 2 forever, so after that we just never recovered. It's a sad story. Everybody's gone their separate ways. Except Squid, who still plays Ape Escape to this day. He's stuck in his room grinding Ape Escape forever while his mom brings him surprise McDonald's every now and again. It's a tough life, but somebody has to do it. He's keeping the spirit alive. So you can get like an alternate song for this, but I'm not gonna bother with it because it's like a poorly rendered Ghouls and Ghosts theme, and the shade theme is like the best in the game. So I don't want to make like a donation incentive for people to hear like a worse song. I refuse. I will fight anybody that says otherwise.
I'm sure you would have meant to.
Yeah. Oh no. This fight's kind of neat. If you kill him that way, like when his mouth is closed, he opens the right door. If you wait for him to open and kill him, it takes you to the bottom floor there. What am I doing? I need to switch to something else. It's fine. But the bottom route has an elevator auto-scroller in it, so it's pretty slow. You don't want to do that one speed-wise. I actually didn't know this right route existed until I started running this game forever ago. Like, the first couple runs I did use the bottom route. It's like, man, I don't know why I'm so much slower than everybody else. Just don't get it. But no, I was losing like 30 seconds or so from that. Yeah, take that treble. You tinny voiced dog. Oh, something I was gonna say about that room with the pumpkin mini boss. In the task, they skip it by like using Rush Jet to clip Mega Man into the ceiling, and then somehow they magically get out of the ceiling. Because that's kind of the thing about zips in this game. It's really easy to get Mega Man in the ceiling, but it's hard to get him out because you have no way of moving down. So you usually just do it like when there's screen transitions where you automatically fall out, or where there's a ladder nearby you could touch. But he kind of just zigzags up and down and all through the wall. So I asked the tasker how he did it, and he didn't even bother to tell me. He just straight up told me, you can't do this real time, just don't. Just forget about it. So, shout outs to him, I guess. Shout outs to Sparky.
And we have a $20 donation by BB Dub, who says, I'm thinking about perts.
Very telling. So for Turbo, it's a neat stage. It's got some weird gimmicks to it, like a tire room you can bounce in, like a big bouncy house. It's got this dude, Farmer Joe, my boy. but he can't work when you break his tire, so rest in peace. Am I gonna get this room? I don't know. It wasn't going too hot in practice. I think I'll just play it safe. Yeah. If you get the bounce off of one of those tires, like they spring you forward, you can pretty reliably make that jump without waiting a little bit. But otherwise, it's kind of perilous, at least for me, unless your movement is like on par. And I don't trust been up for like an hour me to have really good movement in this game right now. As soon as we get to the boss, you might see something cool, you might not. Depends. You never know what's going to happen at Calithon. Okay, you will. I took forever to set it up, but bye, Turbo.
That seems like it's not working as intended.
It was bouncing off the walls like it's supposed to. Seems fine to me. But yeah, you can theoretically do that on pretty much anything in the game, but the rooms are set up to where it just doesn't work. It's like you come in like from higher up, so when you shoot, it's just bouncing around above them. Or in some cases, like with Freeze Man and Burst Man, they have protection on them somehow. Like Freeze Man's in his little like ice encasement, and you can actually hit him when he's in that for some reason. I don't know why it has a hitbox, but that isn't. It just absorbs it, and then nothing happens. He just does his intro as normal. Burst Man has his bubble and a bunch of other stuff. The best one's probably Cloud Man, where if you kill him, he still does the animation thing where he calls down lightning, but it never hits him, so it loops forever around the screen until it eventually, I don't know if it's building up speed or what, but you can kind of see it like go fast enough to where it flickers in and out, or maybe it's a sprite thing. And then the game crashes and kills you. So that one's really fun. There's a video of that on YouTube if you look up like glitches for this game. So yeah, you pretty much only do the Noise Crush thing on Turbo there. You can do it on Spring, but it requires doing like a different boss order, and it's not really the best. I used to do it like all the time, but you have to fight Shade Man with the Buster, and it's a really fun Buster, believe me. But he flies up top a lot. Like, he's too high for you to hit with the Buster, so you're just kind of like losing out on damage a lot of the time. So not the most worth it thing. Like, for the longest time, I was like the only one to do it, and everybody else that played this game told me, "You're only saving like a second doing this. Please stop." And I guess they got to me eventually.
We got a $50 donation by Turbo Dog, and says, "Get equipped with long ravioli."
Ooh, I like that. Thank you. Yeah, there's a really good bot on Twitter. It just makes up a bunch of random names that you got equipped with. Some of them are fantastic. Hypnosis Bag was a really good one I saw the other day.
I was wondering where I had seen the long ravioli in the game yet. Didn't see it.
It hasn't shown up yet. It's coming.
But there is one.
You'll see it.
I'm excited now.
Forte is just a chatterbox, dude. Like, he's so wordy that the text boxes take longer here than in other languages. It's actually incredible. Like, his are, like, single-handedly the only text boxes that take longer in this one. I don't know how he does it. He breaks, like, the fundamental rule of speedrunning. The Japanese text is always faster. What a guy.
Maybe he says more thing in the Japanese version. I couldn't tell.
The big difference in, like, the like, actual answer to that is there's, like, pauses for dramatic effect in this one that are just taken out in the US release. Like, the text box will linger there forever here. And, like, part of the text box will go, and then there's just nothing, and then more of the text. Which is a neat effect, but, you know, I've read it a million times already. Love to sit through the level select and Wily screen every time. It's really good. The downtime in this game's incredible. There's like a solid 10 minutes of nothing. It's amazing. It's so comfy. Oh jeez. So some people like the Wily 2 music. I personally don't really like it that much. But most of the other Wily Castle themes are really good. Like Wily 1 that you heard a second ago is really good. I like 3. I like 4. Maybe it's because of the bosses in this one, but it just kind of rubs me the wrong way, you know? Like, even though we just beat him up, we get Forte again. But this time he's brought his friend. And this is probably the coolest fight in the game. I really like this one. Like, both from how you actually physically do it and just the idea. You get this, like, really, really tall tower segment. And you can fly around. Oh, yeah, that's right. He can, like, end up on the left or right side. So, like, how you have to fight him changes whether if he goes left or right. And if he ends up on the right, he kind of gets stuck under the platform a little bit and just bounces around. And for some reason, I was thinking that he would do it on the left too, but nah, he just makes like the biggest jump ever. You can kind of see the difference too on the distances. I'm not gonna play your room the way you want me to. I'm gonna try for this a little bit. Not very good at it though. Yeah, as you're seeing right now. I'll give it like one more shot. Nah, it's okay. You can like get into the ceiling there. And then you like scale the wall. But like every zip in this game, it's disproportionately silly for how you have to do it and with the time it saves. Like that's probably one of the biggest time savers and it saves like 3 seconds or something. Most of the other ones save like 1. Like exactly 1. It's incredible. So this is the other boss that I just really don't like. He just rams his face into the wall forever. We're seeing some good stuff right here. But he can, like that thing where he hides up in his shell and just rams the wall. He can do that like 4 times in a row. Is he gonna do it here? No, he's being nice for once. Thank you, turtle. Thank goodness they give me all my ammo back, or I'd be screwed right now. That's really nice of them to just give you all of your ammo back in between all the Wily stages. I guess that's why they make you go back to the level select each time. Just to give you like a bootleg way of getting all your stuff back. Yeah, I can see that.
So we have a $1 anonymous donation who says premium farts? Not sure what that means.
I'm not sure either. I don't know why you'd pay for a fart in the first place. Nevertheless, a premium one.
A premium for $1, I'll take it every day.
Yeah. When you put it that way, it's pretty good. Rush Jet just carries us through this whole place. There's the long ravioli. 3 of them, in fact. Man, imagine doing this room normally. I can't. I've like never done that before. Like even when I was a kid playing this game, I just used Rush Jet to get across that. I don't want to deal with your moving bomb platforms. I don't know whose pet dinosaur that is, but they lost it in there. You might want to get it out. He can't fit through the floor. Somebody please help him. This is a cool fight. Except for the, the really high-pitched laser. Could do without that part. So we're just about done. We only have like a 10-minute final stage to do. You know, not that much left. It's because all the boss intros, when you do the refights in Wily 4, they just take forever. Well, that and this. You get to watch this whole thing again. Some of the bosses you do a little bit differently in the refights because you have like multiple weapons. Or like newer weapons, I should say. Similar to like Mega Man 3, for example, bosses have multiple weaknesses. Like they have a weakness from the first circle of 4 and then from the second, typically. And the good thing is they, like the thing where they freak out and they have like a really long animation usually only applies to one of their weaknesses. And I'm taking advantage of that with Freeze here. Because he's weak to the Scorch Wheel from Turbo, but to a like lesser extent than Junk Shield. So with Junk, he like freaks out and like jumps up and stuff, but you don't have to deal with that if you just hit him with Scorch Wheel instead. You can kind of do the same thing with this guy. You can hit him with Scorch Wheel instead of Freeze Cracker. But he still leaves the screen anyways, so it's not like the biggest deal in the world. There's got to be something in those eggs if they're robot dinosaurs. They probably just stuffed them with ketchup or something for dramatic effect. Junk's the same as always. Good old reliable Junk. He's just a little dumb. There's nothing wrong with him. Yeah. See you later, man. See you next run. The cloud fight's kind of interesting because you actually have his weakness now. But with the thing from Burst Man, which is the weapon I have, you can trap him in a bubble, but that takes forever because the bubble has to pop and then he has to fall down. Or if you hold down when you use it, you'll drop a mine. But he's like using rain wind to push you around left and right, so maneuvering yourself to drop a mine underneath him during that's kind of fun. But if you're not going for like a really good time, you can literally just ram your face into him and just keep dropping it there. Which I think is more fun, personally. Yeah, here's the actual turbo fight. It's pretty simple. Like he'll rev up his engine and stuff, and you just wait for him to like, well, stop revving it, I guess. As soon as the sound stops, he's gonna go. It makes it a little awkward sometimes if you have like low audio or something. You just have no idea when he's gonna go. Yeah, Spring is the same as before. Oh no, dude, I can't believe this. I gotta revoke my speedrunning license after this. So I always tell people that this is a 3-frame window because he's only vulnerable for like 3 frames out of the 60 the game runs at when he's jumping up there. But your slash claw lasts for so long that it's actually like 20. You just jump and slash it out, and it just lingers there for so long. It's the easiest thing in the world once you know the timing for it. And the only reason I'm saying that is because nobody's awake to see this run, so I can get away with it. I'll remain unexposed until next time.
There's a few people behind you watching, though.
Well, I probably should have turned around first. You're right. Poor Burst, man. He has such a cool fight design. Like, he can trap you in those bubbles, but if you jump over the bubbles, sometimes you get screwed over by, like, the bombs that are left behind. But you just shoot him with Freeze Cracker, and he just gets stuck in a loop. The Wily fight's pretty cool in this game. It can get really overwhelming, though, if you don't know what you're doing. Like, this form will spawn little tiny skull walkers, and you just have to put up with those. Like, you should do that right now. Yeah. Good. I've been having a hell of a time on this D-pad, by the way. Like, it's my controller, so there's not really a whole lot wrong with it. But I've been routinely just doing stupid things like holding the wrong direction when I do things in this game. It's really fun.
That doesn't sound like a problem with the D-pad itself.
Yeah, I think it's a user error. I think you're right. So, people say this is the hardest Wily capsule fight, but I'm going to show you how to do it like a boss. If he spawns in certain spots, you can hit him with 2 charge coils. The real secret is to just like bait the balls into a spot, because they move towards you once and then twice. They have like a dual homing mechanic kind of going on. That one's a little tough to do. Like, you kind of get them to move to one side, and then you just move out of the way. That's kind of the routine thing here. You like move to a spot where you're not going to be, and then move away from there, and you are perfectly fine. Like over there, I hang out in the right corner, then jump out. So I'm out of coil, and like, if you're going for like a really good time, you don't use that S-tank because you like go out of your way to get coil ammo. But just in case I was being bad and I took damage in the fight, which I'm not, I'm a beast right now. It also saves you from like dying. So it's a thing I did a lot when I was new to this game. I would use the S-tank to heal. Can you not spawn up there, dude? Can't coil you from down here. I think you can double coil that one, but no. So as soon as I hit him with this next Freeze Cracker, it's done. There we go. He did it again. The madman. That's it. We beat the game, everybody. Yeah.
Was it that time?
Yeah.
We still have the time running.
Nice. Nice, it's JRTA. That's fine.
Your time was 43 minutes and I think 16 or 15 seconds.
That's all right. That's not too bad.
Never mind, the audience says it was 43:04. So
Ooh, okay, I'll trust them.
It's surprisingly silent in the game right now.
It's a dramatic moment. There is a confrontation between Mega Man and Wily. But then Forte shows up, slices the tension in half. Says Mega Man's a dork and just leaves. Then we get this sick credit sequence, which I don't think is in the re-releases. I don't know about the Steam one. It might be there. Because Mode 7 is too complicated a technology to recreate in modern day. Yeah, dude, it's a jam.
I love the music, actually. And this game has pretty good music.
Yeah, as far as the classic Megas go, this is maybe my favorite soundtrack out of them, next to like 8. I like this a lot. Alright, that's 7. So thank y'all for watching. Really helps me out.
That was Mega Man 7, run by iongravirei. I can't pronounce her name now.